Hello, hello. Welcome back. I am back. We are back when it comes to doomsday prepping. I'm back to doomsday prepping. It just took me a little bit to like get over my freaking projector being ruined. But hey, hey, I'm back. I'm back and I've watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It was kind of like a very difficult freaking watch for me because it's just very hard for me to get into it, right? To get into it and really watch it because I'm just like I'm struggling. This one is like a struggle freaking thing to watch, and even though it's a struggle, I still want to like say a lot of freaking things about it, right? Like I want to like say things about good things about it and all those freaking things. I really want to enjoy the damn thing and be able to understand it in all its glory. But the thing about this is the rise of the flag smashers, right? The flag smashers. What does it take to be Captain America, and what is needed to become Captain America? Those freaking questions that are just being raised in there, like the rise of flag smashers. What are we now in the world that we come in after the blimp? And there are so many things, so many questions about it. Like in the geopolitical world, in the larger freaking scale, like what is going on when it comes to the population. For me, Falcon the Winter Soldier, I have a little bit of bias when it comes to it because like there's a needle drop in there that I just like because it's like a Filipino song. A Filipino song that was needle dropped in there when it comes to Madre Por, and I'm like, yes, yeah, and I'm like, fuck yeah, it's there, and I'm like, yes, that shit was good. But I have to see these things objectively. What the fuck is the word objectively? I mean, anyway, wait, objectively. Objectively. Mm. Objectively mean in a way that influence that is not influenced by personal feelings or opinions. Ah, there's no personal feelings or opinions. Okay, so there that was. What do you mean? With a basis in observable facts rather than feelings or opinions. Ah, just let's just state the facts and things when it comes to what it is, what it's not, and not set away our freaking feelings and biases for this freaking thing. Okay, so that's what it means when we come to see things objectively. Okay, let's just see the facts then. Sometimes the facts are based on like how we see facts and like how we define facts. Sometimes it's just like completely subjective, especially when like that, we're not gonna go there. But let's try. Let's try. Let me try to be able to see things here. There's these things about it. Bucky's role into like saying there's like we have like three freaking arcs here: Bucky's arc, Captain America's arc, and U.S. Agent's arc, John Walker, and then also there's like a subplot when it comes to Isaiah Bradley and what it really means when it comes to like being Captain America and him being a black Captain America, what it means to be black and doing those freaking things, right? Based on what it is stated in there, it's just very hard for them to be able to do those, especially when it comes to the history of black people in America and being and representing that being that symbol of freaking America, right? It's just freaking weird that it's like that. What is the symbol of freaking America? What it is? What does it take to become Captain America? I have like a quirk. I have like a certain kinds of way. Let me just say things about when it comes to these things. What do we even define America as? Right? Like when when we're actually like conversing in these freaking things. What is America, and what does it represent in this freaking situation or in this freaking context? In the context of Captain America, right? What does it stand for? Uh, for me, as the movie as the entire series go on and shows us, is that it takes is that anybody can be Captain America, right? There's just this freaking thing about it that somehow, even though the rest of society or whatever it is, your history, the rest of society, and how somehow governments and like people in power decide who you are. It's not those who decide who you are, but like somehow there is something else what decides who we come to be. And sometimes you can just become the man if you could just, yeah, and you could just do it by being it yourself. Like anybody can become it, right? Anybody can, like, that's how, yeah, anybody can achieve the dream of being somebody freaking great. And but when it comes to this one, it takes, we come to be able to understand it, like, not in a way that is like that. Like that, somehow as I look at it right now, as I said it, I feel freaking wrong. I feel already wrong. I already feel like I'm wrong with whatever it is that I said, because somehow being Captain America needs the blessing of Captain America himself to be able, for you to be able to, like, that's like somehow the difference between John Walker and who the heck, what is his name? John Walker and Falcon. John Walker and the Falcon. What is his name? What is, wait, the Falcon? Oh my god. Anthony Mac. Anthony Mac. Sam Wilson. Oh, okay. I got to Sam Wilson and also the those freaking things, right? So, somehow it takes, like, it needs a lot of freaking things, but also needs the rest of the people to be able to acknowledge who you are as Captain America, right? And those freaking things, like, everybody acknowledged before that. He gave up the freaking shield because he doesn't seem to be able to understand or doesn't believe that he could become Captain America. He has Captain America's blessing, but he doesn't need to be able to, like, take it. And yeah, those questions were being, like, explored upon in this freaking situation. And then when it comes to the freaking blimp and the flag smashers, whatever it is that happens to freaking the rise of the flag smashers, and what they are and what they stand for, is that the people behind, like, the world was better before the freaking blip, because somehow after the freaking blip, people are like, the world has turned back to it. It's has somehow, like, everything else, like, came back. And then somehow how the world works before the freaking blimp also came back. And it's like, it's a complete whiplash, or like 180 for the, like, whatever it is that's going on, and it affected a lot of freaking people, and how a lot of people live. Because how do you be able, like, there are, like, questions about there, right? There's, questions there too, like, how superheroes, like how superheroes are being paid, and what they do stand for being a superhero. Even though you're known for being a superhero, does it stand in the freaking bank, right? Does it, like, somehow, can it be used as, like, some sort of, like, goodwill for, like, the bank to lend you freaking money? It doesn't seem so. It doesn't seem that it's like that when it comes to the freaking bank. So being a superhero doesn't seem to work like that. And there are, like, a lot of freaking other things, because, like somehow they're not being paid by there's no payroll coming from, like, Iron Man himself, and Iron Man is dead. So even though Iron Man is freaking back, he should have been able to do those freaking things, have a freaking payroll for those freaking things, right? Like, being a superhero doesn't always equate, like, this is okay. Here's a question that I could, like, very very much say, because being a superhero doesn't always equate to being rich. Like, being famous doesn't always equate to being rich. Doing the good thing doesn't always equate to being rich, or having this thing, having an advantage in freaking life, right? Like, being a good person doesn't always mean that you are the best in everything that you, being a good person doesn't always mean being the good thing, but good person doing the good thing doesn't always mean you will rise upon, like, yes, in some other ways you are, like, the optics is nice, it looks freaking good, but in factuality, right, like, somehow objectively, objectively a good person doesn't always equate to being objectively a good person. Because what a good person objectively based on the freaking facts or some other freaking ways, like being rich, having like a good person doesn't always equate to having a good life. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. It's just very hard for me to digest and be able to eloquate myself, or to be much more specific in what whatever it is that I'm saying. I'm having difficulty because like Captain America is a very very hard topic because it's all about freaking America, and somehow the rest of the world seems to be able to understand that this is what America freaking stands for. And as a viewer from somebody else, and you're able to understand this is what the world supposed to be. Like that's what Captain America is. Like somehow the leader of the freaking free world to become a good freaking leader, right? A good leader that we would like look up to and see, to be able to somehow make the right freaking decisions. And also the freaking time when it comes to Steve Rogers being a Captain America, he relies on traditional freaking sense. It's much more. His values are much more right leaning, even though most of everything that's going on around him is much more right leaning. Right leaning, I should say, because he stands with like a lot of freaking values that are just like there, right? But right now, when it comes to Sam Wilson, it's much more it's probably gonna shift towards the freaking left because we like be able to equate things that have been done, right? We have to be able to equate in, or like put in things that are just the history of a lot of freaking things. And when it comes to history of freaking black people, well, the history of freaking black people doesn't always mean that you are left leaning. That's just because you have a history of freaking slavery, or like a victimhood and all those freaking things. Your ideologies and everything that you have or you stand for doesn't always mean let's then politics or partisanships. Okay, partisanships is not politics. That's why I freaking heard, and that's why I'm like standing for today, because that's what I've learned, that when it comes to partisanships, what is left and what is right, and when it comes to power, politics is where how power is being used, or how power is being portrayed, or like being able to like seen, or being the games of freaking power. That is freaking politics, right? The games being played when it comes to freaking power. When it comes to games, I refer to Eric Burns, or like I prefer I when it comes to games, I refer to games as seen by game theory, not games as in gamers, or the games that we play, or I see games as like game theory, right? By by the by the use of the games in this freaking statement, by the games of freaking power that I say, it's games in a way of game theory. Okay. That's how I see freaking politics. Okay, games of freaking power. Yeah. In this freaking situation, it is hard, and I always come back to why I'm like struggling into this freaking series, and why I'm struggling to really convey my thoughts in this freaking movie, in this freaking situation, is because I'll just come back to Sam Wilson's speech in the freaking last episode, when it says to these freaking politicians that you can finally say this is what is really good, because we can finally say that we are of the same freaking ground, where where somehow we have to make like I'm rephrasing it, right? I'm rephrasing it into somehow stating into these freaking politicians that they somehow having a hard freaking time, and somehow like which everybody is having the hard time to decide, having a hard time having a hard time creating the right decision in all those freaking situations. And it's not that just that freaking easy when it comes to these situations, when it comes to the matters of the freaking world, and each decision somehow affects the world that they are, like somehow each decision that they make affects the world. And that is one crazy thing to be able to say. And here I am thinking here. I guess that's what makes a good Captain freaking America, to have those things being considered, right? Because as we compare from freaking Sam Wilson to John Walker, when John Walker was being a Captain America, he was just a foot soldier. He was he seems to be the Captain America of old. The Captain America of old that seems to be not the Captain America that is needed. What is needed to become like what the Captain America that they needed during this freaking time at the end of the fucking blimp is something like Sam Wilson, right? Yes, that she's trying to something difficult, not standing by by borders and freaking flags, right? And all those freaking things, like somehow being able to do those. It's just weird to be able to see that too as a symbol of someone who stands for these kinds of people. Like somehow uh like the wrongs, yes, like somehow the wrongs of America is the one, like the product or the victim of America is the one standing for America. That is what Sam Wilson is trying to do at the very end of it. Because when it comes to history, they are the ones who have been enslaved. They are the ones who have been treated like this and like that. And when it comes to history being erased, their lineage being erased, their culture being erased, and being rewritten by some other freaking people, and then somehow this person now represents them. They represents those freaking people, right? It's kind of crazy because I can relate to those kind of things. In that, if I should say, I can relate when it comes to freaking history because it happens to our history too. Being colonized, that's what it means to be colonized. But uh, in all those freaking things, in all those 300 years, we were treated as second class citizens, as people who not being able to seen as something else. We can only do manual freaking labor, cannot think or do freaking things otherwise. But you need to be able to like somehow it has to be in your blood to be able to do those. Like somehow we have this yes. When it comes to Philippine history, like only those who are mixed with Spanish blood can be able to like no pure Filipinos are not pure Filipinos cannot be able to rise in the social freaking ladder. You need to be able to have a mixed blood when it comes to like Spaniards to be able to like do those to like rise in the social ladder, and to be able to like do art, to be able to like be at a situation or a position in society to be able to be high above it. Those freaking things like that. And for me, yeah, I'm glad that that thing got erased, but then it was like that for 300 years, 500 years for them. Add that extra 200 years and still they still cling to their freaking history. There's still part of their culture that still exists on the other side of the freaking continent that they can reach out for. For us, we don't have things we can we don't have a location because they came to us and rewrote our history here for us. But there are still things that remain, right? Like some of our freaking culture, things that still remains, and all those freaking things. Yeah. Why am I saying that? This is freaking weird. This is freaking weird. I don't know why I'm saying this one. So it's like somehow me being representing freaking Spanish, I call like something like that. When it comes to like a Filipino representing no, yes, a Filipino representing the colonizers or something like that, right? Yeah, black man representing America. That is crazy insane. And that is one of those questions there. What it takes to be someone like it's somehow when it comes to the intuition of somebody super soldier, no super serum. He decides to not take a super serum and be able to like do those freaking things and be able to like still function as Captain America. No super serum, just a man, right? No super serum, just a man being able to do those freaking things. And that's what it takes now to become Captain America, to be able to become the leader of the superheroes. Well, leader of the Avengers, supposed to be. But Captain America: Brave New World probably will see something crazy insane. And in this freaking situation, let me talk more about freaking Bucky, because Bucky somehow for me is like somehow much more relatable when I first watched it. I feel much more related to freaking Bucky because I felt there are days or felt there are times where I just like acted. I have no choice from the things that I act upon or the things that I do. Especially these days, coming back from these days and somehow seeking forgiveness from the people that I have wronged, because I am being driven by like other people, so just being someone to be able to like just acting out on orders doesn't seem to like be like, a difference from being John Walker and freaking the Winter Soldier at this point, right? Because they are just like people acting out on like freaking orders, and it's a good freaking way for like Bucky to be able to like judge or to be able to see. That's why there's this disdain. That's why there's this resistance as to why Bucky doesn't like John Walker. But somehow when it comes to the decision of freaking Steve Rogers, like they decided Sam Wilson would be the guy. Okay. And all those freaking things, and then like capturing and being able to understand the lineage or to be able to understand an exploration of what it takes to become Captain America. That's just freaking crazy that it's like that. Hi, Momo. Oh, I'm like trying to discuss Captain America, Falcon and the Winter Soldier in an hour, and I don't seem to be getting anywhere. Well, that is what it's that is what the exploration of this freaking series is. Yeah, because I'm doomsday prepping. Okay. So that was that, and somehow because all of this, when it comes to everything else. So what does like Captain America stands for in this situation? Being able to like see through freaking people, and we have this stubborn freaking judgment that there is good when it comes to for freaking person or freaking people and what they stand for and what it takes to be able to like see where the line is freaking drawn, to be able to understand where the line is freaking drawn for what is good and what is bad, and have that intuitive judgment to what it is. When it comes to the difference, what is going on, you see John Walker just be able to push through freaking people and being understand and just showing up with this imaginative. That's why like I somehow hated him being like Captain America, because how he acted as Captain America and what he was doing in this freaking situation, right? Being Cap in this situation, uh, flaunting or like using it as a card to be able to like somehow I can do everything, right? To be using it as a I do what I want kind of like freaking card when it comes to it. Because looking from the outside and not truly understanding the internals of what it is, what it takes to become Cap is you might see or you might actually come to the conclusion that it is a person who does what he wants and not trying to understand what it is. That's why there's this separation. That's why they can't seem to agree that John Walker is going to be Captain America, because somehow there's this conversation also with him and Lamar in this situation that these freaking medals, the medals that they deserve, that they were awarded medals of freaking honor, that they need to do certain kinds of things that like they need to do certain evils to be able to get those freaking awards. It doesn't mean it like that this conversation that they had doesn't mean to equate that the awards that they have, that the medals that they have on themselves aren't a good show or aren't a good measure of a good person, or not a good measure of like a great freaking leader. It doesn't show like that. It just shows that they took the freaking sacrifice and they were able to be. Yes, it's just a matter. It should be like be able to be seen. Like I can reframe it too, that those medals are like a decision, or like I be able to like show a great stand or like a great measure of freaking character of people who are willing to make the sacrifice. But it doesn't equate to what is Captain Cap, to what it takes to be Cap, because sacrifice is not what Cap is all about. Being able to draw the freaking line and stand on the other side of the and stand on the good side of that freaking line. and sometimes making the sacrifice means crossing certain freaking lines. And yeah, as I as I explore this freaking situation, I explore this freaking thing. That is the entire series is all about, anyways. Besides the flashy combat and the crazy ass freaking conversations as to what it is, understanding this in a way to be able to like see the struggle between the struggle of freaking John Walker of what it means for him to be able to understand to become Captain America is just not him. It's just not him because when it comes to Sam freaking Wilson, he was still being able to see like here's the thing. You need like he's able to like see he's like trying, he's pulling, he's reaching out to Carly Morgenthau to not cross that line, to not become that freaking person. Because what she stands for and what she is pushing towards seems like a good freaking cause. But the way she is doing it is wrong. And that is freaking one of those freaking lines, right? It's not just because their cause, it's not just because the cause that you're doing, or it's not just because you're like the ideals, or it's not just because it's good that you're doing this, or the reasons that you're doing your actions. It's not just the reasons that makes like makes your cause a good freaking thing. It's also how you do it. And this is one of those freaking things where like Sam Wilson was like really reaching out to Carly Morgenthau and so what she was able to do and all those freaking things. And also the choice of being the choice of taking a super serum, like the conversations when it comes to like a super serum, like what it takes or what the super serum does to a person. It enhances a freaking person or it brings more to themselves, right? Super serum in this freaking situation is seen as freaking power, or you see super serum has power in itself. Like power doesn't like power doesn't like make a person freaking wrong, or it doesn't make a person bad. It just enhances the freaking person. It just magnifies the internals of a freaking person when power is being set upon them. And yeah, in most situations a lot of people get it freaking wrong, right? When we given freaking power, a lot of freaking people get corrupted by or get corrupted and get to be able to like have like somehow wrong morality, like when it comes to their morality and being able to understand these freaking things, right? Being able to like draw the freaking line, be able to understand having humility still when it comes to freaking power, because humility somehow is an aspect, or it's what makes a person in power be able to consider the rest of the freaking world and not just themselves. It's being able to think of yourself less and not less of yourself, right? Yes, humility is being able to like see less of yourself and being seeing more of the rest of the freaking world, and that's what it means to have freaking power and all those freaking things. And it's really great that it was like that. Like somehow being able to contrast John Walker and Sam Wilson and have like a Bucky there to be able to decide like Bucky was there to be able to like see things through it too. There's also this conversation when it comes to freaking Bucky, whatever Bucky is going through, because he's like alone now. He's truly freaking alone now because he's like he's a man out of freaking time. He's like a really old freaking man out of time with a lot of freaking sins in this freaking situation. And we have to like compare these three together because these three are the main freaking things in this freaking situation. Are like the main conversation. There's this trio. That's the trio or the dynamics of their freaking character or what they are, right? Sam upholds the freaking situations of what it takes to be Captain America, like the internalizations of being Captain America. That's why he's needed to be. And you see when it comes to freaking Bucky, why he wasn't freaking chosen is because he was lost in that freaking moment. He was lost of being who he is to be need to become. He doesn't know who he is, and probably there's like a parts of the Winter Soldier that is in him that he needs to be able to like understand first. Like there are like a lot of freaking things in this situation, in this freaking series, that makes Bucky not become Captain America. But he can. He can. Like after this freaking situation, he can become Captain America. but it's just much more different now because of its like the things that he has done in the past, right? Somehow your history affects who you are, and it's still a part of you, even though you have changed the freaking person. Your history is still yourself. Like somehow because of that freaking situation, like you have to consider each people their freaking history as to who they are now. Like their history is still a part of you, but doesn't define who you really are. Like somehow the medals that John Walker has doesn't actually redefine who he really is and what he needs to become Captain America. Like Sam Wilson's history doesn't define who he is, but it takes a part of its freaking history to become Captain freaking America, right? And then when it comes to history, when it comes to the Winter Soldier, he has history as becoming the Winter Soldier and all the things that he has done, but he needs to be able to be okay with freaking his history and being able to live with his freaking history and what he has done. Yeah, all those freaking things. So as we continue in this situation, I think that's all that is needed, Brian, for it is what it takes to be Captain America. And that is that. And after the internals, let's see about the freaking action and all those freaking things. How it was externalized or how it was said. How are these freaking internals or how are these let me say, okay, let me start with those are the freaking internals, right? Those were what is going on inside of them. But how it was it explored? How was it said? Well, you see this in the conversations that they have, in the actions that they make, in the decisions that they make, and how they are being shown in this freaking situation. Yes, it may seem that it is like that, but sometimes objectively, right? Subjectively, I see them as like this and all those freaking things. But objectively, what are the facts? What has been really been said, or what hasn't really been done in this situation to really bolster or to really prove that this theory exists, right? To really prove that this is a situation. So in this second situation, to really prove that it's going on, that what it is going on, or what it is that they are, is what they are, right? When it comes to their fighting style, how they freaking fight. Well, you see the things that yeah, you see grief and loss somehow. Let's just say with freaking John Walker, how he is able to like operate in all those situations, right? Like, he seems to be like this because it was proven in those things that he has done. Let me just okay. Him being Captain America, it's like one of his biggest jobs ever. And it's one of his biggest jobs ever to be able to for him to be able to do. And he did this freaking job. He was able to do this freaking job. He was good at it. He seemed to be able to be good at it, but somehow he has a his moral compass is reliant on his friend. Like his moral compass is relying on his friend, his buddy, his partner, and all those freaking things. But sometimes, yeah, you need to stand on your own. That's how like somehow when it gets to be needed when it comes to these freaking situations. Like somehow there needs to be freaking balance in the situations, being understand that your partner was like somehow heavily reliant on somebody's partner or truly being reliant on yourself or not relying on anybody else, right? Like in all those freaking things. He has his freaking partner and all those freaking things. And when he lost it, he lost it. It's shown in there. And like how they fight too and how they see the freaking world. Uh, there are things about him too when it comes to giving up the shield. He already like has gone it and crossed the freaking line. And crossed the line that lines that it's very, very obvious that Captain America shouldn't be able to like cross. But he crossed those freaking lines when he was able to like kill that freaking person. And that freaking situation we all really see that he is not somebody who's like fit for to become to take on the mantle of being Captain America. And there are other things too. You can see him crashing out on like a freaking person, right? when they were like asking freaking questions. He was impatient, not being able to trust his freaking, like, for a person to be able to like say trust your freaking partner and all those freaking things. He seemed to be only trusting of like a certain freaking people that he needs to be trusting about. He's not very that much trusting when it comes to the rest of the freaking people around him, to like people who are actually friends with Captain America, to be able to stand as being Cap, like who's standing in as Cap, right? And these are the actual freaking friends of Cap. You should be able to trust them, right? You should be able to trust them because these are the people that the person you're succeeding trusted. But he wasn't able to trust that when it comes to this conversation with Carly Morgenthau, when like Sam was really reaching out and was able to reach out to Carly Morgenthau, but like the conversation wasn't like freaking over because like he was rushing in, like John Walker was freaking rushing in this situation and all those freaking things. He was able to do those freaking things. He was able to do those, and that was not as good. Good. That's not really good. Not really fit as Captain America. And yeah, and what it takes for freaking Sam Wilson was able to like do those freaking things, right? When it comes to his trust, when it comes to his trust to John Walker, he just doesn't seem to be able to trust him, and he seems like giving up the freaking shield at the beginning and giving it to the rest of the freaking world, or giving it back to the government because the government somehow owns the freaking shield. Doesn't really actually own the freaking shield because it's a gray freaking line, because it's somehow a Stark freaking property made during World War II. Uh, it's just it's not really kind of theirs, but and then you gotta be able to see that like somehow maybe the vibranium that was like used, the vibranium that was used probably when it comes to the freaking shield was like Wakandan. So they probably stole it from Wakanda. So it doesn't actually probably like US freaking government like owned. Which is a gray freaking line. Yes, but they were like being able to cross that freaking line doesn't always mean that you're always good. Uh, and when it comes to Captain America, yes, he was the man to be able to draw the line. And he was being there. He has the freaking aspects like Sam Wilson, what he is, right? Being affected by all those freaking things by the rest of the freaking world, and still be able to stand and be able to like say that the current society or whatever it is that's going on, what is needed. Well, it's not actually able to say that. It was like he knows the effects of the people, of the things that they have done coming back from the blip, right? He knows the effects of people coming back from the freaking blip, and he is one of those freaking people who come back from the blip, and like seeing other people, or like having people struggle because of the blip, of like the people returning from it. And in, yeah, like the first thing we're able to see is from the bank. He sees it when it comes to his sister and all those freaking things. There are like crazy ass freaking things when it comes to this situation, when it comes to him, his history, his personal history, his history as a black man, and his history when it comes to being a superhero. All those freaking things had to add up and line up to become him being able to take on the mantle of like Captain America. Like Sam Wilson now is here situation. When it comes to Sam Wilson's situation, we get to be able to see that overall what it takes to become a good guy, right? Like he was able to still stand there for freaking family, because somehow we need to be able to see that he stands for freaking family values. We don't see it when it comes to like John Walker or whatever it is going on when it comes to freaking his freaking wife. Maybe that's what like there are like freaking aspects probably there that it needs to be able to be seen, because like somehow we're able to like see that he is a freaking family man, and how he treats freaking family, or how he acts when it comes to freaking family is like very different, right? And yeah, it's there. I think there's supposed to be a contrast there by casting the wife, but they need to cut it out because probably it's too dark for freaking John Walker. It's too damning to John Walker's character, because somehow they still need to be able to uh make John Walker as a good person and not a totally bad freaking person. Like somehow he was able to like operate on the freaking gray lines, like as they needed to be able to operate it. So that was like That was like Sam Wilson's opportunity to be able to become Captain America. They really were showing this when it comes to his freaking family, his good freaking uncle, to his freaking nephew, a good freaking brother, and all those things. And as a person who is like able to like see things too from other perspectives, right? He sees from a lot of freaking people and all those things. In the beginning, yeah, it was like that. We didn't really see that much from the beginning, right? Because you have like flag smashers. You get to see it later on in the freaking end, like how he treats Morgenthau. That's like probably where I get to see him like being able to like shine as Captain America when he was like treating the enemy as not the enemy. Like somehow he was able to empathize with the cause of the freaking enemy, but he was able to see that what you're doing, how you're doing it, or how you're pushing your cause is freaking wrong. Right? That's where he draws the freaking line. And he was able to like try and reach out to them. And yeah, that was a good freaking thing. And the crazy ass freaking things too when it comes to like Captain America is you see this freaking thing when it comes to methods of freaking approach or methods in approaching the enemy, right? Or getting information and all those freaking things, right? When it comes to asking freaking people or like asking people or like using freaking people. Well, using freaking people in this situation when they were like asking for Mama Donya. Where they're asking for the funeral of Mama Donya, where they were trying to get the funeral. They've got um it would be like really nice to see too that his character is not very much like being torn down, especially when they went to Madripoor. He didn't get to act like as a total bad guy. He was just the way they were able to like show this. The craziest freaking things about it too, right? It would be like really nice when it comes to the explanation when it comes to Madripoor because he was like to be seen. Okay, in my theory, right? To be for my theory to be added more or for my theory to be to have more evidence as to being it true, the Madripoor should have been treated differently. Their trip to Madripoor should have been treated differently. But we see it in the jail breakout scene. He doesn't want to Baron Zemo. They don't want Zemo. So he doesn't want Zemo to be like to be used or to become an ally or go out of freaking prison because he draws the line when it comes to freaking methods, right? Like so Zemo too, like methods when it comes to Zemo that it draws the line there. And when it comes to Madripoor, he doesn't draw the line of drinking a freaking snake, but like somehow acting as the madman, acting as a madman, or pretending as a madman. We get to see him like be able to like really push his freaking character or like where he can draw the freaking line there, right? We don't get to see it much when it comes to my Mad Report and all those things. But we get to see him though when it comes to like Zemo. Like we get to see a lot of freaking Zemo in a lot of this situation. It's like when it comes to Zemo, the enforcements of like what Zemo sees. Like Zemo has like a certain kind of way of view in the freaking world too, that somehow reinforces or somehow Zemo sees like when it comes to this when Zemo sees Sam Wilson as something else, right? Was there? Was there like wait, let me check if there was wait, let me check. Wait, let me fact check this one because like I haven't watched the entire freaking series in like episode to episode, but there when it comes to like him not taking super serum, right? Oh my gosh, let me like check this one out. See, even Zemo, like a true certified freaking villain or a bad guy in this situation, right? asks Sam if he would take the freaking super soldier serum, and he was like, no. And that's like one great situations that like somehow you'll be able to see more and more that Sam is the one who is like very fit to become Captain America, because somehow all those freaking things, like his methods, his lines, the way he draws the line when it comes to situations is much more different. Okay, that was that. That that was like Zemo was able to like see it through. Like probably when it comes to this situation, even the bad guy, the actually really bad guy in this situation is able to see that he is like somehow Captain America quality, because he even wouldn't take the super serum. Yeah. I mean, probably it's much more extreme because like it was really good. Those freaking things are there. I like this one. I like this Falcon. I like Falcon being Captain America, but it's really good to be able to see it. Now his history, or like his history as like being a black man trying to become Captain America, Isaiah freaking Bradley was his view or his lens was used as his lens to be able to see his freaking past, or how the world sees him, or how the government sees him, how actual America sees him, right? So that's why he doesn't want, probably doesn't want to become a super soldier, because like, probably being a super soldier is too much. Because sometimes when it comes to being someone like this, you need not to be able to like somehow like there's this probably this underlying freaking layer in this situation that you need to play it down. That you don't need to be too much. Like this is why he doesn't probably need to become needed the super serum, because he was thinking to become Captain America as a black man. That is freaking too much. Having a super soldier serum is already freaking too much. And the world doesn't want to see that. The world doesn't want to accept that. It doesn't want to see that yet. Right? Like those freaking kinds of questions. Like it's probably in there. It's probably a layer like mixing around in there. This freaking statement that he needs to tone himself down, or he needs to hide this freaking power. That like for him to become Captain America, he doesn't need that much power, or he must not be that powerful. It's just crazy that I like that. And then you see Wakanda. And then you somehow you see Wakanda. Yeah, but it's not Wakandan, right? Isn't he? He's not Black Panther, isn't he? He's not Black Panther. He's freaking Captain America. This freaking situation, this freaking question that I'm that's just got it upon. Probably because you see it to Isaiah Bradley and you'll be able to like, no, it's not. But yet later on, he was able to like show his freaking history, that the world will never forget what he has done for his freaking country, right? And that is one good freaking way that they show this museum of super soldiers, or the people who like done freaking things. There is a black super soldier called Isaiah Bradley, but it doesn't need to be that. Probably that is what is freaking needed, right? That he has to redefine what it is to be Captain America. And these are his ways of redefining it, not taking the super soldier serum. Because it's like different now. Okay, onwards for 10 minutes left for Bucky. 10 minutes left for freaking Bucky, and those are the freaking things that it's need. No super serum, Zemo, like Bucky now, like it's Bucky's Wakandan experience, and how he owes so much to the freaking Wakanda. Like there's this experience of not being able to come back as a Winter Soldier, but there's still, when it comes to him, he needs to be okay with what the things that he has done in the past. Not be okay, have some closure of what he has done in the freaking past. What he has done in the freaking past when it comes to Bucky is like he was an assassin, but he has no choice in the matter. He was just a puppet. And all those freaking things, you somehow still feel guilty because it was you who freaking pulled the trigger. It was you who freaking killed the person. Still, right? It's just crazy, insane that it's like that when it comes to Bucky and his judgment to what it needs to be Captain America. Well, he sees this because he sees Steve Rogers in the freaking past, and he has the experience when it comes to seeing him in the past, right? In the past, Steve Rogers was like this. In the future, he kind of was able to come change and adapt to the situations in the world. But overall, the core qualities of being Captain America is still being seen or being able to like, understood by freaking Bucky. And he sees this probably in Sam Wilson. He sees this in Sam Wilson probably when it comes to like having a friend in these situations where they were conversing when they were both in the south that they were repairing the boat. In the situation they were repairing the boat, it was a great freaking closure or great freaking interaction or being shown when it comes to freaking Bucky finally being able to see Sam Wilson as being Captain America, to having Captain America freaking qualities. Back then, during this freaking situation, in the previous freaking episodes, he just trusts. He only in this situation he trusts Steve's decision, right? He trusts Steve's decision to be able to to be able to give it to Sam Wilson, and he doesn't like Sam Wilson's decision to be able to like give it back to the freaking government. And this freaking situations about it, it wasn't like that. It wasn't like Steve's decision. It wasn't all those freaking things. And even though not to be seen it here, these questions of why did you have to give up the shield and all those freaking things. And when it comes to Bucky, anything else about it? Like the Wakanda thingy, like he was able to do those freaking things. He was able, like he's still crossing lines, right? He's crossing lines, the things that are that's needed to be done because he needs things to be done. So he was like able to use Zemo. He was able to let go of Zemo, but like all those freaking things too. Like Zemo was on his freaking list, and this closure between Zemo and Bucky when it comes to being a super soldier or becoming the Winter Soldier, right? Because somehow Zemo has like problems when it comes to super soldiers that they are a bane to, or are like a false existence to the freaking world. They shouldn't be able to exist. And like it's the thing that when it comes to like Zemo's experiment or the Zemo's uh, theory that superheroes shouldn't exist is Captain America. Like Steve Rogers is the only one who was like able to stand before Zemo's freaking view of the freaking world and be able to say no. But it was just a complete exception. And we get to see Bucky showing this again. That that like having a super soldier serum doesn't make you a bad freaking person. And Zemo was able to see that when it comes to freaking Bucky and this closure between these two freaking people. Because he was able to like understand that he was not new. Like it needed to come from somebody else to be able to like say that to Bucky too. Somebody to be able to like confirm it to freaking Bucky that the Winter Soldier is not him. It needs to be like coming from. It doesn't need to be coming from himself. It came from himself when it came out from freaking Wakanda and all those freaking things. But each freaking time he crosses a freaking line there, right? Each time he crosses a freaking name in the freaking book, is a way to be able to say that it's one more confirmation that he is not the Winter Soldier. And finally, at the end of the freaking series, it was to confront the old man and say that I killed his freaking son because he did steal him. But he has no choice in the freaking matter. This conversation with this old man probably gave him that final conversation that he is not the Winter Soldier. And then Madripoor again. Like Madripoor was supposed to be the conflict of characters for these freaking people, but like Madripoor was like a lost opportunity to really, really reel in those freaking characters, to really, really show us that they are like freaking struggling, like the struggle to come back to these freaking characters, to become that he's struggling to come back as a Winter Soldier. That these freaking two people, right? Like Captain America has to be able to to be shown that he is struggling and becoming somebody else. That is not being him being able to become himself, right? So to be able to like, oh my god, I need to be able to cross the line. There's like that should be struggle in here. But it comes to Mad Report, it's much more of a lens to being able to see that, to much more to be seen, to be see in the freaking Winter Soldier, in freaking Bucky. It's much more in Bucky's situation in this scene. It's much more seen as Bucky being not having somehow showing not having trouble acting as the Winter Soldier. And like Sam Wilson saying, "Are you good?" To freaking Bucky in this situation is like one of those freaking crazy ass things to be able to see. But it's much more Bucky's freaking turn to be able to see this. Yes, it's much more toned down when it comes to Captain America. It's just like a gag freaking thing when it comes to like him eating his favorite, drinking his favorite drink and all that. But it does seem, it sees here, it shows here, because like when they were like talking to this freaking chick, when we were talking to this the plug, they were talking to their plug. There was like this situation that is like he seems Captain America is off freaking character because he's smiling. He is smiling. Yeah, he needs to be smiling all the freaking time because he's freaking crazy ass freaking African guy, right? Yeah, and then like somehow you see Bucky. Yeah, it's very hard to understand this situation. I guess I needed a bit time to analyze and be able to understand like what this freaking scene or episode is all about when it comes to Mad Report episode. But it is like that. Zemo was the one who pulled the trigger and killed the freaking the scientist in this situation, Sharon Carter, being able to see Sharon Carter back and be able to like understand that it's not given to everybody, that not everybody was like given the freaking pardon, even though Sharon Carter was like part of the freaking people who like saved the freaking world. It's still not given to everybody. It's again the struggle of being a modern superhero, or how it takes to be able to live when it comes to these superhero freaking things. Not everybody, not everyone, like somehow you need to be able to act a certain kind of way to be able to get those second pardon. But if you act like a certain like this way, like the struggles of being a modern superhero, I could like really see it in freaking Ant-Man, man. Ant-Man and the Wasp, like him being an ex-con, him going through parole, him the struggles of him being in parole. That is just one freaking way to be able to understand these freaking things, that be that the theory of being a good guy doesn't always mean that the world sees you as a good guy. Even though you're still really, really good, like your methods are really, really freaking good, but it's just like your situation, you are messed up in your situations, in all those freaking things. And we see this in Captain America too. Like in Captain America, it was able to like stand against freaking the Winter Soldier and all those freaking things, right? Like in the Civil War and after the Civil War, he is being seen as a freaking fugitive, but he's still called Captain America. And all those freaking things. That's why like phase 1 to phase 3 is like really, really freaking good. They like truly analyze and go back to and analyze again. Because understanding it like this is great, that's insane. And even though Bucky's thing with his freaking past and all those freaking things, I think like can Bucky become like Captain America too? It's freaking different. How the hell did he become a senator, anyways? Like, how the hell did Bucky become a senator in this freaking situation? How did Bucky become a senator in the? How did he become a senator? Anyways, Brave New World is something to be able to like explore those freaking things, because we don't get be able to see Falcon and the Winter Soldier until Brave New World and until New Avengers. New Avengers, or yeah, it's called New Avengers now. It's what is that? Thunderbolts. New Avengers. It's called New Avengers. I calling it New Avengers, but it is Thunderbolts. But it's now New Avengers. Yeah. Anyways, that's it. That's my yap. That's my doomsday prep for what it takes to become Captain America, and that's all my yap for today. Yeah, it's been an hour. It's gonna be an hour for Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and that's all about it. I'd like to talk more about Carly Morgenthau, but yeah, the problem, like the problem when it comes to Marvel, again, a very convincing villain, a villain that is really struggling, or the villain that really matches up to their freaking heroes. The way they write their heroes, the way they make their heroes are really fucking good, but then again, their villains are fucking awful. Like Carly Morgenthau should have been freaking better, or her struggles, they should have shown more of what she is to be able to us as a viewer. For me, as a viewer, to be able to stand by what she is doing, to be able to have this freaking struggle, to have this freaking journey of going. Please, like to have this freaking thing, to be able to empathize with freaking Sam Wilson as his freaking viewpoint when it comes to Carly Morgenthau, that she hasn't lost it yet, that she hasn't crossed the line yet, and then the finality of the freaking situation when she finally crosses the line, when she finally becomes a truly bad guy or a true villain in this situation. Yeah. It just needs more. Like it takes one. Like somehow when she says this is what they understand, right? Like somehow when she says this is what she understands when she bombs this freaking place, but we don't see this from the other freaking people. We don't see this. We don't see the reason as to why she is saying this. Like freaking villain, freaking problems again, man. Like now, not a freaking bad freaking villain, man. When she was saying this, it seems like she was acting out of freaking nowhere as to her decisions. Like somehow she's still escalating her decisions, but we don't see the escalation as to her decisions. Like we don't see why she's escalating her freaking decisions. Like we get to see a little bit when it comes to Sam, when it comes to John Walker, but we get to see it like that would be great as freaking contrast when it comes to see this, right? We see John Walker escalate when it comes to like, the way he's like sees her or the way he's like doing this to other people, but it's just like, bro, the way, yeah, it and like it wasn't seen much how she escalates things. Like it's like a lot of freaking things has been cut just for our heroes to have more screen time. Have more screen time, and it's just like we cut a lot of freaking Carly Morgenthau to be able to like show more of like Cap, show more of like our heroes, which is kind of good because the heroes are like really really fleshed out. It seems really really fucking good. And then we get to see our villains again. It's like awful freaking villain problem again. Like it's just a villain freaking problem. But next season, so next series, oh fucking hell! Like we get to see Kang. You get to see Kang. We get to see Kang and Jonathan Majors. Get to see Kang. It's really freaking good. We get to see Kang. We get to see. I think it's much more better this time around. When it comes to Loki, Loki is really good. Yeah, I need to take more notes. I think I'm gonna need to take more notes. I haven't taken notes. All of this is just mental freaking notes. I need to take more notes so that I can better flesh out things that are just saying about this freaking thing. But the problem is with me taking notes when I'm watching the damn thing, it doesn't seem like I'm enjoying it, right? It doesn't seem like I'm enjoying the freaking movie when it comes to like taking notes when it comes to those things. Probably the second freaking viewer or the third freaking watch, I'll be taking notes. But this time, I really want to enjoy it and I really want to rely on the initial freaking impact of the freaking movie, right? That the very obvious things that the movie is showing you. I very obvious, but it doesn't seem that the things that I'm saying are very very obvious. But the things that are like initial to me, right? Initial or like intuitive as I watch it, because like, why do I need to struggle to understand what the message of the movie is all about? Right? Why do I need to struggle when the movie supposed to be, or like the movie or the TV show is supposed to be easily be able to handle these freaking themes, or to be able to easily show these freaking themes towards me? The struggle for me to be able to like the struggle is for me to be able to like say them and articulate them and really fleshing things out and really really like explain things to you. Now that is the freaking struggle that I'm supposed to be struggling about, not struggling to understand why these things, or why why are they acting the same ways, or why are they doing this and that, right? That shouldn't be a struggle when I'm watching this. Like I shouldn't be struggling as to why the motivations of this character is doing this. I shouldn't be. But anyways, yeah. Yeah. Well, that's just my opinion anyways. That's just my opinion. And this is the opinion piece. Never. Uh yeah. Anyways, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching the Falcon and the Winter Soldier Doomsday Prep. Thank you so much. And I'll be seeing you on Loki. All right.